The latest unemployment numbers show improvement during the month of January. The Cape Cod Commission wants help from residents while planning to make some changes to a busy roadway in town. And the capital improvement plan clears another hurdle. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, March 12th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. Unemployment numbers are down on the Cape and Islands. David Augustino, Executive Director of the Cape and Islands Workforce Investment Board, says unemployment numbers were lower this January than the same time a year ago.
It shows quite a bit of improvement from last January. Last January, our unemployment rate was 10.9%, and this year it's 10%. So it's down almost a full percentage point. The state is only down about 0.7%. So relative to the state, we're doing a little better than we did last year. Compared, the state unemployment rate is 7.1%. So we're about the same in relation to the state. So the news is that we're almost a full percentage point better than we were in January of 2013, which I think is very positive. I mean, January is about as slow as it gets. January and February are our highest months of unemployment, and I think the fact that we're a full percentage point better off is a very positive sign for.
Augustino says retail is one industry helping to create jobs on the Cape.
That coming out of what was a fairly healthy Christmas season, retail may be showing a little more strength than it has. And I know that when people read the national retail news, it can be a little disconcerting in that I think within the last week there's a report that Radio Shack may be closing most of its stores. But those are competitive issues. That's not saying that retail isn't still strong. It's just that some retailers are better at efficiencies than others. And, of course, there's always there's a lot of pressure from the online retailers. But I think that retail may be doing a little better. And going forward, when we start looking at the spring, April, May, I'm hoping that the construction industry will show a little more strength than it has. That's been one of the slower industries to be recovering from the great recession of the 2008-2009 time period. We're still down over 900 construction jobs from that period. So we definitely have some room to grow in that area. So I'm hoping that as we get to the warmer weather, that the construction will show some.
Augustino says he expects unemployment numbers to continue to fall as the summer season approaches.
The housing market has shown great strength in the early reservation periods. Matter of fact, some companies have reported that this is the strongest early reservation season that they've seen ever. So for me, I mean, I know that we're coming off two very good years for the hospitality.
Augustino says every summer the Cape and Islands region adds more than 15,000 jobs. The Cape Cod Commission wants resident input on plans to improve the Centerville-Hyannis corridor on Route 28. Technical Services Director Glenn Cannon says they will ask residents what improvements they want to see in that area at a project kickoff meeting next week.
This is our first step, so it's outreach to the community. We really want to hear ideas from folks. We probably won't be bringing alternatives to this meeting because we want to gather information from folks on what's going on out there. And we have a pretty good idea, especially with the Bell Tower Mall, like you say, you know, it's been talked about for years. But we want to hear about folks about other issues too, you know, pedestrian, bicycle issues, and see what types of solutions can be done. You know, there's all kinds of problems out there, and sometimes there are even smaller fixes that could be implemented sooner to help. It may not fix the situation, but it might be able to help. And if there's something we can do short term to help. You know,
Cannon says while the area being focused on is rather large, they thought it was important to consider the area as a whole rather than in pieces.
Hyannis Access Study, working on that section, and then as we went into the Hyannis Access Study, we got into the airport rotary and then that section of Route 28 from the airport rotary to the Cape Cod Mall traffic light. MassDOT came up with a project at Route 28 and Bierce's Way Unfortunately, there were 2 fatal pedestrian crashes between Beerce's Way and the Cape Cod Mall, so they decided to close up that gap. Once we were done with all that, we were well aware of the Route 28 Centerville in front of the Bell Tower Mall there situation, and that needed to be addressed. But we didn't want to leave that gap between Beerce's Way and Old Stage.
Right.
It's a long section, it's a lot of road, but again, we just didn't want to leave that gap, so we decided
All residents and business owners are encouraged to attend the planning session for the project. The meeting will be held Monday evening at 6 in Barnstable Town Hall in the hearing room. The capital improvement plan for the next fiscal year is closer to going before Town Council. The Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee recently completed its review of the plan. Finance Director Mark Milne says the committee has also issued a report with their thoughts on the plan.
We have a task force that reviews all of the submissions and rates them using 10 different evaluation criteria. The committee members of CFAC, a subcommittee member of CFAC, performs the same process using those evaluation criteria, which then creates a ranking, a priority ranking for all of the project submissions. And the town manager will look at those rankings and the comments that CFAC makes when he's developing his capital improvement plan. So, and some of the comments that CFAC included in the report are things such as perhaps the town should be looking at a new public safety campus because there are improvements being requested to the MEA facility, which is across the street from the police facility up on Fitties Lane, and perhaps we could try to reduce our footprint a little bit by getting rid of the MEA facility and incorporating it somewhere over on the land that's vacant next to the police facility. And then the other comments they have are like in the school department's capital budget, perhaps we can enter into some kind of a revenue sharing agreement to provide the schools with X number of dollars and allow them to pick and choose the projects that they want to get funded with their allocation. And things along those lines. They also really wanted us to focus more. They were interested in what's not included in the document, and that would be things of a comprehensive nature, like a town-wide sewering program or a town-wide private road improvement program. Some of those things may not be ripe for inclusion in a capital improvement program because there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to those 2 types of capital projects. And so, but they're suggesting that perhaps we could talk more about that in the capital improvement document going forward, to just put it on the radar.
Soon the capital improvement plan will go before Town Council. Foot patrols will return to Main Street, Hyannis this summer. Chief of Police Paul McDonald says officers will be assigned to patrol the area on foot and bicycle throughout the busy summer months. The officers will work to form tight relationships with Main Street business owners and be aware of the individuals who can cause a nuisance on the street. Chief McDonald is hoping to have the new patrols in place by the 1st of May. The way in which private road repairs are funded could be changing. The Town Council Roads Committee has been meeting and discussing this often contentious issue. They've asked the town attorney to draft legislation that would allow public funds to be used to pay for private road repairs if town officials determine it's appropriate. The Roads Committee will meet again and review the draft on March 24th. Barnstable iForum is the town's online virtual town hall, a place to go and share your thoughts and ideas for moving the town forward. We have 2 new projects of conversation up right now on the iForum. One seeking input on C Street Hyannis streetscape plans, the other searching for your stories about Barnstable as we celebrate our 375th anniversary. Log on and join the conversation today at barnstableiforum.com. That's it for us today. Tune in to Barnstable This Morning, our daily hour-long news program, live at 7 right here on Channel 18. On tomorrow's show, we talk with Precinct 9 Town Councilor James Tinsley. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.